everybody. How you doing? My name is Victor, and today, in this particular course today, I'll be teaching you about a topic. I'm talking about a topic called Beyond the Code: Building Cybersecurity Awareness in your platform development team. So, if you are looking to inculcate the best practices into your platform development teams, this particular talk you would actually find useful. By the end of this talk, you should be able to understand some modern threats that your team actually faces as a platform development team and how to elevate the security mindset in your team. So it's important for us to understand that the cybersecurity landscape is evolving just where with more improvement in technology, there's also going to be improvement in security threats. So there's a rise of sophisticated threats and the attack vectors improving. Attack vectors here simply means the means through the channels through which you can actually be attacked. So for instance, things like IoT systems, for instance, you can actually be hacked through your cameras or maybe your fridge, because freezers and fridges today have like IoT devices too. They can actually be connected to via the internet. And there's also an increasing reliance on technology today. Lots of organizations, almost everybody in the world depends on technology. We saw what happened with the CrowdStrike event where because of there was a downtime with the CrowdStrike system, airports were shut. The airports could not, their operations were affected. In the world today, technology is like the backbone of most of the business processes. Yeah. So the first thing to actually look at when you're talking about integrating security into your platform development lifecycle is to have a secure by design mindset. What it means here for the shift left approach means the fact that you make sure that whatever you're doing, when you are making your designs, maybe you are designing a cloud application or a software, for instance, you want to make sure that it is secure by design, meaning that you consider security first. It doesn't matter how fancy whatever you're building is. If it's not secure, it can actually be an attack vector through which your system is going to be attacked. There should also be secure testing and analysis. What this means is that you should have a very good quality assurance process in place in your platform development team. You shouldn't be in a hurry to move a product into an app or a software into the production system without adequately testing it. And you should have a very good quality assurance system or methodology. And there are also automated security tools you can actually use to achieve this. And there are also different methodologies. You can actually also make sure you do penetration testing. Penetration testing means that you actually get maybe a hacker to actually target your system to see where your system could be vulnerable. You could also do things around static code analysis, where you can actually review the source code of what you built to actually see whether there are any bugs. Where, for instance, if there are any bugs that could actually make you prone to being attacked via SQL injection attack, for instance, those will be identified with a static code analysis process. It's also very important in your platform development team to have a security conscious culture. There should be regular awareness trainings held in your organization, and there should be openness and transparency. What this actually means is the fact that your team people should be encouraged to speak up when they feel something is wrong. Okay, you should encourage an atmosphere of people speaking up, people not keeping to themselves when they feel something is wrong. It could be the difference between you being cyber safe and you being cyber attacked. Okay, so it's very important to encourage a community and ambience of open transparency. It's very important for you to maintain a security conscious culture within your team. Incentives could also be provided to members of your team when a member of your team actually does an achievement or is actually like a cybersecurity champion, in the sense that he or she encourages their teammates to be more cyber alert. You could actually design awards for those kind of people and give them awards or maybe monetary gifts or vouchers to encourage them, so that other members of the team will see that good behavior is actually encouraged. Going back to the security awareness training, this has actually been found that most companies are not doing a lot to train. They're not doing a lot to actually train their staffs regularly around cybersecurity trainings and cybersecurity trends. So it's not just enough for you to organize a cybersecurity training when you're onboarding your staff. You should also make sure that it's a continuous process. They should understand the importance of things around not having a clear desk policy, They should have a clear desk policy, things around changing their passwords regularly, things around not sharing sensitive office things on their personal social media, things like that. Those are reminders, nudging your staffs to make sure that they don't become like an attack vector themselves. With I'm moving towards social engineering now. So in social engineering concepts, your staffs may actually be an attack vector that you could be hacked from. So you have to be very careful. You should also look at implementing secure coding practice. On the technical area, we talk about things around form validation. For instance, I spoke about password for the previous slide. When it comes to things around input validation, you should say if you have some sensitive files, for instance, you could also secure it to the way that the password to access those files would have certain rules and requirements. For instance, it could be that the password must be maybe 15 characters long, where you must have a capital letter, small letter, symbols, and all that. So there must be good input validation built into your system. There should also be secure authentication and authorization systems, things around MFA, multi-factor authentication, to make sure that the person who is logging in or having access to sensitive documents is supposed to be the person having access to them. Okay, so this is very important to know. Then also encryption. It goes without saying, it cannot be overemphasized and it cannot be understated that you need to encrypt sensitive files. Oh, look at the CIA triad. Things around your confidentiality, your integrity of your files is so important. So sensitive details like passwords or systems in your disposals, you should make sure that you also inculcate things around the least privilege access methodologies, where anyone who shouldn't have any business having access to a system should not have access to it. It should be encrypted from them. It's only individuals who are authorized to have access to that information, who you can say something like around a need to know basis, something around a need to know basis, where it is only when they have to know that they would actually have access to actually decrypt that file and have access to the file. So encryption is very important. And the number 4 would be secure login and monitoring. This is so important, very important. You need to have a secure login system that shows who actually logged, who actually accessed the resource, and when did they access the resource. It cannot be overemphasized, because when you have a cyber attack and you are doing a post-incident recovery, you want to go back and check who actually led to the cyber attack, who accessed this file, who was careless with this file. It will help you investigate. So there's a need to have a secure login system that shows, that tracks the time and whatever anybody did in a system. Some organizations use things around use different softwares to actually track this down. So you need to check for a software that actually works for you with your project. Then your physical security of your platforms, things around your network security and segmentation. Implementing a firewall is non-negotiable. You will need to have action detection systems, your Qualys, QBM iRadar, Qualys, Darktrace. There are different options for you to use from Microsoft Defender. You should also implement firewalls outside and inside your network if need be. You can also, for some organizations, I know some organizations, your staff probably work remote. You probably want to get a VLAN, establish a site to end-to-end VLAN, a secure VLAN and VPN system to ensure that there's a very good segmentation that helps your remote workers connect securely to your network in such a way that it does not affect your sensitive files. Okay, so that is what network security and segmentation will help you do. Then best practices, you need to have best practices. I've spoken about that in the previous slide. You must have a good access identity and access management system that talks about the authorization, access and authorization. People who are logging into your systems must have the right login credentials to do. Okay, if your login process is broken, you might as well know that your systems are not safe. Okay, and you should also have to do regular vulnerability scanning so that where you are actually weak. It's a good practice to have penetration testers come to test your systems regularly to know where you are weak. So you can do that maybe every 3 months to check, get a penetration tester to actually test your system. Physical security measures, since around creating barriers to your systems. You should have guards in your data centers. If you have data centers, if your files are not hosted on the cloud and you have some offline files stored in data centers, you should have physical guards, surveillance systems, cameras to protect access to your critical infrastructure. Very important to have all those in place. And of course, you should have an adequate backup adequate backup measure in place just in case maybe there's a fire so that your systems are not lost. Make sure you back up your systems properly. Incident response planning cannot be overemphasized. You should have a comprehensive, in your security policy of organization, there should be a comprehensive incident response plan as regards the procedures for containing any security incidents you might actually have. You should have a dedicated team, maybe outsourced dedicated team that would be tasked with the responsibility of handling any incidents you might probably encounter in the course of your day-to-day work. Okay. And of course, there are software that could actually help you with threat intelligence and analysis. I've mentioned some like Darktrace and IBM Curator. There are lots of them, but you need to work with what works with your budget. Okay. So, but incident response plan, you should have an incident response plan in your security policy that shows the appropriate response, how you are going to actually deal with the incident, how you are going to do it during the incident and after the incident, what steps will be taken so that you don't fall to that same cyber attack next time. Very important. Yes, so there's a need for continuous monitoring. You have to continuously monitor your systems. You have to continue monitor them because the cyber attackers are not actually sleeping. So you have to continuously check. Though some systems will give you false positives, some softwares like Qualys and some other systems, sometimes they may throw up what they call false positives, which might not actually be a cyber threat. You want to make sure that you check very well, you investigate further, you check the logs and check that, okay, this is actually not actually a false positive. And if you see anything unusual in your monitoring and your vulnerability assessment, you raise it up to your line manager to let them know what to do so that they can take it up and actually neutralize any cyber threats. Lastly, I want to talk about empowering your team. It's so important for you to take security awareness training seriously. It is very important to work on the mindset of your team. They need to understand that cybersecurity is everybody's business, not just the security team's business. Everybody should be cyber aware. Very important. That's why I mentioned you need to train them. You need to train your staff regularly around security because there are different security threats coming up every day and your staffs need to be aware. They should also be, you can also have things around threat modeling in the interactive security simulations. You can actually do security simulation where you check, you mimic real world scenarios to help people so that would help you identify how you're going to respond to a threat. You can also, when it comes to security awareness and training, you can also conduct fun games, security games that you can gamify security scenarios through quizzes, interactive games, challenges, and while your staffs are having fun, they'll be learning things about security, okay, just to make them have fun, and they would have that mindset within them that, okay, we need to be cyber secure. And even if they're having fun, they're actually learning something. And with that, you are empowering their security mindset. And in conclusion, I just want to say that it is very possible for you to actually cultivate a security conscious culture within your platform development team and protect your platform development team from modern threats so that you can have a resilient cyber posture in your organization. So you need to take this seriously. And if you aren't doing any of these things listed in this presentation before, please take out time. You can speak to a cybersecurity consultant about it. And I actually hope and believe that you have found this presentation useful. And yes, so it is I count it a privilege to actually present in Conf platform in the Conf42 Platform Engineering 2024 program. And I'm sure that you've actually found this presentation useful. And yes, so I'll catch up with you another time. And wherever you are in the world, I want to say have an amazing time. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.